Mali, a name that echoes through history, resonating with tales of grandeur and splendor. This West African nation, often overlooked in modern times, was once the epicenter of wealth and knowledge. Synonymous with empires of gold and ancient learning, Mali's past is a tapestry woven with threads of prosperity and intellectual brilliance. The ancient manuscripts and gold artifacts stand as silent witnesses to a time when Mali was a beacon of civilization. From the fabled city of Timbuktu, a name that conjures images of a distant, almost mythical place, where knowledge flowed as freely as the river Niger, scholars from across the world gathered to study and share wisdom. The Sankore Madrasa, one of the oldest universities in the world, was a hub of learning and culture. To the bustling markets where caravans laden with salt and gold once traversed the Sahara, connecting Mali to the wider world. These markets were not just centers of commerce but also melting pots of culture and ideas. Mali's legacy is steeped in riches, both material and intellectual. The gold mines, which once produced vast quantities of the precious metal, and the intricate jewelry crafted by Malian artisans, are testaments to this wealth. Yet for too long this wealth has been siphoned away, leaving behind abandoned mines and empty villages. The echoes of past prosperity now serve as a stark reminder of what has been lost, leaving the Malian people yearning for a rightful share of their own inheritance. The communities, rich in culture and tradition, strive to reclaim their heritage and build a future that honors their past. The story of modern Mali has been one of external influence, with its destiny often shaped by forces beyond its borders. Foreign diplomats and international aid workers have played significant roles in the country's recent history, with its destiny often shaped by forces beyond its borders. Colonial-era maps in the presence of foreign military forces are stark reminders of the external pressures that have influenced Mali's path. But the winds of change are blowing across the Sahel, bringing with them a new sense of hope and possibility. The changing weather patterns symbolize the shifting tides in Mali's journey, and Mali is at the forefront of this transformation. With a renewed sense of purpose, Malian soldiers and leaders are working together to forge a new path. A bold new chapter is being written, one that promises to restore Mali's former glory. Infrastructure projects and national pride are paving the way for a brighter future, one where Mali is determined to reclaim its narrative and chart its own course towards prosperity. Government officials and public rallies reflect the collective will to drive change. This is the story of Mali's bold move, a daring gamble to reclaim its power and resources, and in doing so, redefine its place in the world. A daring gamble to reclaim its power and resources, ensuring that the wealth of the land benefits its people, and in doing so, redefine its place in the world. Mali's cultural heritage and natural resources are the cornerstones of its resurgence, promising a future where the echoes of the past harmonize with the aspirations of tomorrow. In the heart of Bamako, Mali's capital city, a new spirit is taking hold. Gone are the days of unquestioning acceptance of the old order, replaced by a resolute determination to forge a new path, one that prioritizes Mali's interests and its people. This shift in attitude is palpable. It's in the impassioned speeches of government officials, the defiant slogans painted on city walls, and the unwavering belief in the eyes of ordinary Malians that a brighter future is within reach. The old guard, accustomed to dictating terms, now faces a Mali that is no longer content with the crumbs from the table. Mali is done asking for a seat, it's building its own. For decades, Mali's fate has been intertwined with that of its former colonial power, France. The relationship between these two nations has been complex and multifaceted, deeply rooted in history and marked by both cooperation and contention. From the days of colonial rule to the post-independence era, France has played a significant role in shaping Mali's political, economic, and social landscape, and more broadly, with the West. But this relationship, often characterized by economic dependence and political interference, has left many Malians feeling marginalized and disillusioned. The influx of Western aid and investment, while beneficial in some respects, has also perpetuated a cycle of dependency that stifles local innovation and self-sufficiency. Over the years, the discontent among Malians has grown, with many questioning the true nature of this partnership. Protests and political rallies have become more frequent, as citizens demand greater autonomy and a re-evaluation of their country's foreign alliances. The sentiment on the streets is clear. Malians are eager for change and a new direction. In a decisive move that sent shockwaves through the corridors of power, Mali has turned its back on the West. This bold decision marks a significant shift in the nation's foreign policy, signaling a desire to break free from the historical ties that have long bound it to Western powers. The government has made it clear that it seeks to chart a new course, one that prioritizes national sovereignty and self-determination, opting instead to embrace new alliances with non-Western powers, most notably Russia and China. These emerging partnerships are seen as a way to diversify Mali's international relations and reduce its reliance on any single bloc of countries. By engaging with Russia and China, Mali hopes to tap into new sources of economic and military support that align more closely with its national interests. This strategic realignment is not born out of mere opportunism, but from a deep-seated desire to break free from the shackles of neo-colonialism. The government and its people are united in their pursuit of partnerships based on mutual respect and shared interests. This new direction is seen as a way to reclaim Mali's agency on the global stage and foster a more balanced and equitable set of international relationships. The pivot towards the East is already yielding tangible benefits. China, with its insatiable appetite for raw materials, has wasted no time in securing access to Mali's vast mineral wealth. Chinese investments are pouring into the country, funding infrastructure projects and creating jobs. This influx of capital is helping to stimulate the local economy and provide much-needed development in various sectors. Meanwhile, Russia, eager to expand its geopolitical footprint, has offered military support and expertise. This collaboration is bolstering Mali's ability to combat the growing threat of terrorism and enhance its national security. Russian military advisors are working closely with Malian forces, providing training and strategic guidance that is crucial in the fight against insurgent groups. The benefits of these new alliances extend beyond immediate economic and military gains. They represent a broader shift in Mali's approach to international relations, one that seeks to build partnerships based on equality and mutual benefit. By diversifying its alliances, Mali is positioning itself as a more independent and resilient player on the global stage. As Mali continues to navigate this new path, the world watches with keen interest. The nation's bold move to turn eastward and embrace new partnerships is a testament to its determination to forge a future that is free from the constraints of its colonial past. This journey is just beginning, and the potential for growth and transformation is immense. The coming years will reveal the true impact of this strategic realignment on Mali's destiny. In a series of audacious moves that have reverberated through the mining world, Mali has made a bold statement. This West African nation, rich in mineral resources, has decided to take a stand against the long-standing exploitation by foreign entities. The government has declared that it will no longer be a passive observer while its wealth is siphoned off by multinational corporations. Mali has served notice that it will no longer be content with being a mere spectator in the exploitation of its own resources. The government has taken decisive steps to ensure that the benefits of its mineral wealth are felt by its own people. This move is not just about economics, it's about reclaiming sovereignty and ensuring that the nation's resources are used for the betterment of its citizens. The ground beneath the feet of multinational corporations, accustomed to operating with impunity, has shifted dramatically. These companies, which have long enjoyed unfettered access to Mali's resources, are now facing a new reality. The Malian government is demanding fairer deals, greater transparency, and more significant contributions to the local economy. Gone are the days when foreign companies could waltz into Mali, extract its wealth with little benefit to the local population, and leave behind a trail of environmental degradation. The government is now enforcing stricter regulations to protect the environment and ensure that mining activities do not harm local communities. Extracting wealth with little benefit to the local population has become a thing of the past. The new policies aim to ensure that the riches beneath Mali's soil translate into tangible improvements in the lives of its people. This includes better infrastructure, education, and healthcare services funded by the revenues from mining, and leave behind a trail of environmental degradation. The government is also focusing on sustainable mining practices to prevent further damage to the environment. This includes measures to rehabilitate mined areas and reduce pollution, ensuring that future generations can also benefit from the country's natural resources. Mali has taken back control, reclaiming ownership of key mining operations previously held by Western companies. This move is part of a broader strategy to increase local participation in the mining sector. By empowering Malian workers and businesses, the government hopes to build a more self-reliant and prosperous nation, and in doing so, sending a clear message that the era of exploitation is over. The government is committed to ensuring that the wealth generated from mining benefits all Malians, not just a privileged few. This includes investing in community development projects and creating job opportunities for local people. This bold move has not been without its critics. Some analysts argue that the government's actions could deter foreign investment and harm the economy. They warn that the country could face economic isolation and sanctions from powerful international players. Some have accused Mali of biting the hand that feeds it, suggesting that the country is jeopardizing its economic future by alienating foreign investors. These critics argue that Mali's economy is heavily dependent on mining revenues and that any disruption could have severe consequences. Warning of economic isolation and dire consequences for defying the established order. However, the Malian government remains steadfast in its resolve. It believes that the long-term benefits of reclaiming control over its resources far outweigh the short-term risks. But for the Malian people, weary of empty promises and decades of being shortchanged, the risks are worth taking. They have long felt the sting of exploitation and are eager for a new chapter in their nation's history. This move represents hope and a chance for a brighter future. The risks are worth taking. For the first time in a long while, there is a sense of optimism and empowerment among the Malian people. They are ready to take control of their destiny and ensure that the wealth of their land benefits them and future generations. Section 5. The Kremlin's shadow lengthens over the Sahel. The arrival of Russian mercenaries from the Wagner Group, a shadowy private military company with close ties to the Kremlin, has added another layer of complexity to the Malian saga. Their presence, while welcomed by a government grappling with security threats, has raised concerns among Western observers already wary of Russia's growing influence in the region. Russia, for its part, insists that its involvement in Mali is purely motivated by a desire to assist a sovereign nation in its fight against terrorism. However, critics argue that Russia's true intentions lie in securing access to Mali's vast mineral wealth and establishing a strategic foothold in this resource-rich region. Whatever Russia's ultimate goals, its growing presence in Mali is undeniable. The Wagner Group has quickly become an indispensable ally to the Malian government, providing much-needed military expertise and firepower. Section 6. Cracks in the Maghreb, the Algerian standoff. The escalating tensions between Mali and its northern neighbor, Algeria, have cast a long shadow over the region. The roots of this rift run deep, stemming from historical grievances, competing geopolitical ambitions, and a fundamental disagreement over how to address the security challenges plaguing the Sahel. Algeria, a regional heavyweight with a long history of mediating conflicts in the Sahel, views Mali's rapprochement with Russia with suspicion, seeing it as a destabilizing force in an already volatile region. The presence of Russian mercenaries near its border has further inflamed tensions, raising fears of a spillover of violence and a potential proxy war. The breakdown in relations between these two key players has far-reaching implications for the entire region. The closure of borders, the expulsion of diplomats and the suspension of cooperation mechanisms have hampered efforts to combat terrorism and address the humanitarian crisis unfolding in the Sahel. Section 7. A new dawn for the Sahel. Amidst the turmoil and uncertainty, a glimmer of hope emerges. The formation of the Sahel Alliance, a trilateral partnership between Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, represents a bold attempt to forge a new path for regional cooperation, free from external interference. United by a shared vision of self-reliance and a determination to chart their own destinies, these three nations have embarked on an ambitious agenda that prioritizes economic integration, security cooperation, and the promotion of good governance. The Sahel Alliance is still in its infancy, and significant challenges lie ahead. However, its emergence signals a growing recognition that the solutions to the Sahel's complex problems must come from within. Section 8. A gamble for a brighter future. Mali's bold move is a gamble, a high-stakes wager on its own ability to control its destiny. The road ahead is fraught with risks and uncertainties, and the consequences of failure could be severe. Yet, despite the challenges, there is a palpable sense of hope in the air. The Malian people, long accustomed to being on the receiving end of history, are finally taking control of their own narrative. The world is watching closely, eager to see whether Mali's gamble will pay off. Section 9. The world is watching. Mali's audacious bid to reclaim its power and resources has sent ripples across the globe, challenging the established geopolitical order and inspiring other nations seeking to break free from the shackles of neo-colonialism. Whether Mali succeeds or falters in its quest for true sovereignty remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: its bold move has irrevocably altered the geopolitical landscape, ushering in a new era where the old rules no longer apply. The world is watching and the stakes have never been higher.